everyone, welcome with my question set 25 for the database management system. Here in this question set 25, also I have to answer these 4 sub questions, and also I have to say that this question set 25 is also based on the scenario that I have discussed in my 16th video. And okay, for answering these questions I am using here also Average SQL software, so I am going to open it. So by clicking this I can open this Average SQL software. Here I have to give my password. Now after that I can open it. So this is the exam marks DB. This is the database I have created for that scenario in my previous videos, and here these are the tables I have created, and I will give you a brief description about these tables and the data I have inserted to these tables. You can see here this class table. These are the details of the classes. 2 classes are available, 11A and 11B, and here in this exam term table you can see data regarding 2 terms are included here, and in the student table there are 8 records, about 8 students are included, and student exam mark record table, this is the most important table in this exam marks DB. Because of that, this is the specialty of this table. Out of 4 columns, 3 columns are foreign keys. Here this student index number is the foreign key from the student table, the subject ID is the foreign key from the subject table, then this column is the foreign key from the exam term table. Okay, the next, that means the last table, here this is the subject table. These are the details about 3 subjects. This is how I have inserted data to these tables, and this is how I have created the database. And all these concepts, that means creating databases, creating database tables, inserting data, all these are done within my previous videos. So I request you all to watch my previous videos if you haven't watched them already. So okay, let's move on to the question. In this question, the first question says that we have to find out the average obtained in the first term mathematics subject. So let's develop the query. So here for the mathematics subject, the subject ID is 1. So let's write a query for selecting subject table. From the subject table, subject ID, I'm giving the table name as subject table. I'm giving the condition as where the subject name should be equal to mathematics. So I'm copying it here from here. Okay. Then I'm going to execute it. You can see its subject ID, it gains as 1 to this resource area. So I'm going to comment this because I'm going to use this query as a subquery in my main query. So then I have to find out again here obtaining the first term mathematics subject now. So I'm going to write the next query as select exam term table. So I have to find out term ID from this exam term table. Within that condition here where exam term tables term name should be equal to first term. So I'm going to copy it from here, this exam term table, first term. Okay, so I'm going to execute it. You can see the term ID is also 1 here related to this first term. So then I'm going to make it commented here also. Okay, so we have to find out the average. So before finding the average from the student exam mark record table, from the marks column, I'm going to select asterisk. So then first of all I'm going to select all from student exam mark record table. Where should there here I have to give the conditions as the subject ID from the student exam mark record table should be equal to this subject ID that is came from this query, and also I have to give the next condition as the from the exam term ID from this student exam mark record table should be equal to the term ID we are gaining by executing this query, that means the second commented query. So I am going to give the first condition here where student exam mark record tables subject ID should be equal to, here I am going to use here this in clause instead of using equal sign. So here this is the subject ID, so I am going to use this query as a subquery within this brackets. So I am closing it. So you can see, we can find out the details here from the student exam mark record table related to the subject ID 1. So then again I am going to fill it by giving the next condition as student exam mark record tables exam term ID should be equal to this. I am giving this query as the subquery to this within these brackets also. So then I'm going to execute it. You can see the term ID is also filtered to 1 here. Only the details related to subject ID 1 and term ID 1 are displaying here. That means these are the details we can select from the student exam mark record table related to first term mathematics subject. So here we have to find out the average from these marks. So I'm going to give here, instead of giving this asterisk mark, I'm going to give this function average. So I have to give the column name, first of all the table name and also then the column name which we are using to find out the average. So I'm giving table name here student exam mark record table, then the column as marks. So then I'm going to execute it. You can see the average mark is came here, and for gaining a meaningful result I'm going to give this the column name. I'm customizing this column name average student exam mark record marks. This column name I'm going to customize this by using this as keyword. So then I'm giving the column name as average mark. Okay, I am executing it. You can see it says that average mark is this mark. We can set it as 71.845. Okay, then this is the way I have answered for the first sub question. Then let's look on this. Okay, this is the way I have answered for the first sub question, and then let's look on the second sub question. Find the average obtained in the second term singular subject. So we have to find out the average obtained in the second term singular subject. So first of all we have to find out the subject ID related to the singular subject. So I'm going to select the subject ID. From subject table, where the subject name should be equal to, here from the subject table, subject name should be equal to singular language. So here from the subject table, I'm going to copy that one here, singular language and literature. So within that query I am replacing it. So then I can execute it and gain the subject ID as 3 here for the single language and literature. The subject ID is 3, also displayed in this table, subject table. So then it's okay. So I have to comment this. So then I'm going to keep the next step. Here I had to select from the exam term table term ID from the student exam mark from the exam term table by giving the condition as where term name should be equal to this. The term name is second term. So here in this exam term, here this is second term. I'm copying it and pasting it. So I'm executing it. You can see the term ID is came as 2 here for the second term. Term ID is 2. Okay. So then I have to comment it also. Then I'm going to write the main query here. As in my previous sub question, I'm going to select asterisk from student exam mark record table where I'm giving this subject ID from the student exam mark record tables. Subject ID should be equal to, here within these brackets I am giving this query as a subquery. Here is subject ID related to the Sinhala language and literature. I am giving it within these brackets and I am going to execute it. You can see the details are filtered by using the subject ID 3 in this student exam mark record table. So then I am giving the next condition as by using this and clause and keyword. Here from the student exam mark record table, the exam term ID should be equal to this. That means the term ID related to the second term. So I am giving it as subquery. So I am going to execute it. So then you can say the subject ID from the subject ID and term ID, these results has been filtered. So then I have to find out the average mark from these marks. So I am giving this column name. Instead of giving this asterisk mark, I am giving the table name as student exam mark record table and the column name as marks to be gaining the average. So we can see this average mark 87.8875 is the average marks from the second term Sinhala language and literature subject. So this is the way I have answered this second sub question by using the subqueries. So then I am going to show you how I am answering this question, this second sub question, by using the join queries also. So I am deleting this. First of all, I am keeping these two sub queries and I am deleting this only. So here I am going to, first of all I am going to join. Here select asterisk from student table. So first of all I am going to join all the tables. Class table, no need of gaining class tables here, and also no need of gaining the student table also here. So I have to join only the student exam mark record table. Join subject table. I have to join the subject table on by giving the relationship between the student exam mark record table subject ID should be equal to subject tables subject ID. Okay, so I am executing it. You can see the details has been came here. Okay, so then again I am going to join the exam term table also. Exam term table by giving the relationship between the student exam mark record tables, the exam term ID should be equal to exam term tables term ID. Okay, so I'm executing it. So you can see all the details has been came here related to the student exam mark record table, then subject table, then also exam term table. So we have to filter these details by using these two queries. So I'm going to give the conditions as where student exam mark record tables subject ID should be equal to this. Select this query. I'm giving it as a subquery for this, and I'm executing it. You can see the details has been filtered only relating to this Sinhala language and literature subject. You can see the subject ID is 3 only. So then I'm going to give the next condition. The next step, as student exam mark record tables exam term ID should be equal to, here I am giving this the second query as the subquery for this main query, and I'm giving it within these brackets. So then I'm executing it. You can see here this term ID is equal to 2. All the details has been filtered according to this subject ID and also term ID relating to this Sinhala language and literature and also for the second term. So we have to find out the average marks from this. Here these marks, from these marks we have to find out the average. So I'm going to give this function average instead of giving this asterisk mark. So first of all, then here I have to give the table name and also then the column name as marks. So I'm executing it. You can see the average marks has been came here to the result set area 87.8875. If you can remember, when we write this query, for finding average marks, we have written this query by using subqueries in previous query. So with the usage of that subqueries, also this average mark is came, and also by using this join queries we can gain this average mark also. So okay, this is how I have answered for the second sub question also. This is the main subquery. This is the main query. By using join queries I have written here in order to gain the answer for the second sub question. So here in this third sub question it says that we have to find out the average of the marks obtained by Sachitra Vikram Singh, student in all subjects in the examination held on 2020 7th of July. Okay, here again we have to find out an average. The specialty is that we have given the first name and the last name of a student as the condition, and also we have given the exam date. The examination is held on. Okay, so okay, now matter, let's develop that query also. Here for gaining the average mark for this third sub question, I am going to use subqueries. So first of all, we have to find out the term ID related to this, the exam date we have given in this question, sub question 3. So here I am going to select the exam, that means the term ID from the exam term table, relating to this condition where exam term table's exam date should be equal to July 7th. Here in this exam term table, this is the date. So I am going to copy it down and pasting it here. So you can see the term ID is 2 for the exam date, for the exam that is held on this date. So I am going to comment this in usual way, because I am going to use this query in my next steps. So again I have to find out the index number from the student table. Relating to that first name and the last name given to me in this question. So here student dot first name should be equal to Sachitra. So from the student table I am going to copy it down. Suchitra. And the second name of him is Vikram Singh. So I am giving the condition again. The next condition as student tables last name should be equal to Vikram Singh. So I am pasting it here, and by executing it we can gain the index number of Sachitra Vikram Singh as STO003. Okay, so again I am going to comment this because I have to find out the average marks obtained by the student Sachitra Vikram Singh in this exam that is held on this date 2020 7th of July. So then I am going to find out, first of all I am going to find out all the details from the student exam mark record table. At last let's find out the average marks. Okay, so here in the student exam mark record table, all from, I missed that keyword, all from student exam mark record table. So here you can see all the details from the student exam mark record table are displaying here. So we have to filter them by using these queries. Then I am going to give the conditions as where student exam mark record tables subject are not. Student index number should be equal to, here I am giving the in clause instead of using equal sign, and I am giving this query as a subquery to this, and I am executing it. You can see the details related only to this index number STU003 are coming to this here, and we have to give the next condition related to the exam date also. So I'm going to give the condition as this, and then student exam mark record tables exam term ID should be equal to this. That means the ID we can gain from executing this query, by executing this query. So I'm going to execute this. You can see the details has been filtered in according to this exam term ID 2, and these are the marks obtained by the students Sachitra Vikram Singh, who owns the student index number STU003. So we have to gain the average from these 3 marks. So in spite of giving this asterisk mark, I am going to give the average function here by using the queries, by using the table name, then the column name. So I'm going to execute it. You can see the average of the is this student, especially this student Sachitra Vikram Singh. This is the average mark he has obtained in this examination that is held on this date. So I'm going to make it more meaningful by using this as keyword. I'm going to give the column name as average of Sachitra. Okay, so I'm going to execute it. So it says that average of Sachitra is 63.09. So okay, this is the way I have answered for third sub question also. So let's look on this fourth sub question. Then here it says that we have to arrange the marks obtained by all the students of class 11A. This is a question that is in another style, another specific style. So we have to arrange the marks obtained by all the students of class 11A in the first term in ascending order. So we have to find out the details in ascending order. So okay, let's develop that query. First of all, I am going to select the class ID from the class table. Where class table's class name should be equal to 11A. 11A here, class tables, data 11A, no any space between this. Okay, so I'm going to execute it. You can see the class ID is 1. So as in normal way, usual way, I'm going to comment this because I'm going to use this query in my next steps. So then we have to find out first term, the term ID related to this term name, first term. Select giving the condition as exam term tables term name should be equal to first term. Okay, so I'm going to execute it. You can see the term ID is equal to 1, that is related to this condition, the first term, term name first term. So again I'm going to comment this also. So we have to make the marks obtained by the students here, the marks obtained by all the students now. So we have to gain, first of all we have to find out here the details from the student exam mark record table now. So here I'm going to use join queries for answering this last question, last sub question. So I'm going to select all from student exam mark record table. So I'm going to join student table on by giving these conditions, exam mark record table, student table index number should be equal to student exam mark record tables student underscore index number. Okay, so by executing it you can see the details has been came here. So without wasting time I am joining the another tables also. Here I am going to join again the class table by giving the relationships between the student table, class ID, and class tables class ID. Okay, so I'm executing it. You can see the details from the class table are also came here, and here I'm going to join again the exam term table on student exam mark record tables exam term ID should be equal to exam term tables term ID. So by executing it you can see I have gained here the details from the exam term table also. So we have to filter them by using these queries. Then I'm going to filter them by using these queries by giving them to the conditions. So here student exam mark record tables exam term ID should be equal to I'm giving the same clause and giving this query to that. Then I'm pasting it here. So I'm executing it. You can see the details has been filtered by the term ID 1, and I'm going to give the next condition as by giving this and clause here student tables index number class ID should be equal to this class ID from the class table 11A, and I'm pasting it here, and you can see the details has been filtered by using the class id one also. So then I have to select only the marks from this table. So I'm going to give that student exam mark record tables marks. Then you can see the marks has been came to this result set area, and we have to make these marks in ascending order. So I'm going to give this at last. We are giving the next condition as we have to order them by the student exam mark record tables marks in ascending order. Okay, so then I'm going to make these marks in ascending order. By executing this, you can see normally the ascending order is arranging some details from the smallest one to largest one. So here this is the minimum mark, then this is the maximum mark 100, and you can see the details has been filtered here in this ascending order by using marks. So in this question we have to arrange the marks, only the marks. No, so I have arranged the marks in ascending order by obtained by all the students of class 11 in the first term. So okay, this is how I answered for the question set 25, and thank you for joining with me in this video also, and let's meet to the next video soon.